Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back for an EVE Online video. Today's video is going to be a little bit of an update on the structure. This is something that some of you guys have requested, and well, what I thought could happen, but was sort of feeling like because my structure is so bare bones, it may not happen. It did happen, and so we were wardecked with the intent of going after my structure. So once you get wardecked, of course, there's a couple of things that you have to do. Set your opponent to red so that they become very visible, and then try to go through their previous wars and see if you can't spot patterns, maybe the place where they mostly operate, if they go after structures or not. And here was like a mixed picture. Sometimes it was only like a couple of ship kills in the trade hubs, and then sometimes there were a couple of structures going down as well. But what I did notice was that those were taken down by like a single Leshak. So that was kind of interesting, and I decided that after my shields were taken down, that I would take a look at what is happening if they go after the armor timer, which obviously, you know, once you start and you have the patience to blow through the shields with a single ship, then you are there to take down the structure. And so on the armor timer, I decided to go and take a look, and we were greeted by a Leshak with two Zarmast support cruisers right behind it. So the pattern that they were flying at definitely told me that this is like one player running 3 accounts at the same time, and that's when I decided, well, let's take a little bit of a gamble. There is one small glimmer of hope for me to give myself a chance to save the structure, and that would be that he's AFK, because taking down a structure on a single ship, it does take a long time. Or let's say it's not a single ship, it's 3 ships, which of course is a bit of a problem, but the 2 Zarmast really don't have that consequential a DPS amount, since they only use their small drones. And it did look like it could be potentially an AFK setup, and so that was the gamble that I took. Daegarn still had given me one of his Taloses, which is really like a bashing Talos as well, complete glass cannon fit, but almost 1000 DPS. And so my hope was, if he's AFK and I can catch one of these Zarmast, you know, perhaps I can break that, go after the next one, and then see if we can't stop the onslaught. But yeah, if the player is not AFK, it's basically a 3 against 1 situation with a very optimized setup, because all Triglavian ships have very strong remote repair capabilities. So basically a tiny little spider tank there of 3 ships that becomes a massive brick that's almost impossible to break. And so since he was not AFK, he could easily switch the reps to my target, call in the drones, and once the ogres got to the Talos, it was all over, since I was such a glass cannon, basically destroyed in just 1 or 2 volleys. It is unfortunate, but well, it also was sort of the reason why I set this structure up, to take a look so that other players and newer players, you know what they can expect if they graduate to getting a structure and thus opening themselves up to a wardeck. And well, yeah, the lesson here is that it's a very tough time in EVE Online for solo players at the moment. Once you try to get into those structures, I'm guessing it's just a structure course, right? It's a guaranteed drop that is, you know, several 100 million ISK worth, so it is definitely a very nice drop to work for. Although it has some risks and disadvantages, of course, you do have to get the wardeck going. But if you find a target that's like a single player corporation, well, there's really no way to defend against a setup like this with, well, 3 accounts basically, in all likeliness controlled by a single player. It is pretty impressive. It's also pretty intense, right? It's a serious investment in skills, pilots, ships, all of that is probably quite a decent investment, but it's also a very optimal setup. So I'm actually quite impressed by this, because basically you could say that it's another solo player. This looks like a solo player setup. I'm sure it's 3 accounts, which is not what I want to do with EVE Online, but it is a solo player setup that basically allows him to go after structures solo. So also he probably won't be going after a corporation with like 100 members or anything like that, but once he spots someone that tries to set a structure solo, he knows that he has something that he can break and where he has a setup for it. So very, very impressive actually. And unfortunately it looks like my structure is not going to be long for this world. We're still with that one problem for the corporation. Basically we still have this anchored tower old boss in one of the wormholes. No way for me to just go and find that back, and so we're just always war eligible. But it's pretty obvious as well that it's a structure in space that puts the crosshairs on your back and that attracts the attention of, well, players or groups like this that well, currently are definitely making life hard for people that want to set up structures. If you want to do that, you better make sure that you're able to defend it, and that means you better not be alone. You better have some extra firepower and players' ships available to help in the defense. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.